We are going to start our introduction to what is economics, and we are going to start with basic economic concepts. The question is, what is economics? Economics really is truly the battle between unlimited wants and scarce resources. And this concept of scarcity is a situation in which resources are limited but can be used in different ways. So one good or service must be sacrificed for another. This is another word for an opportunity cost. Economists will study this battle between wants, needs, and the choices society will make. And this comes to societal choices. This is the decision of producers, consumers, and government to decide how an economic system answers these three basic fundamental questions. The three questions include: what products do we produce? How do we produce these products? And who consumes these products? These are decisions that all producers, consumers, and government must make to fit the best needs of society. Some basic economic terms we'll be working on throughout the semester. Needs, something like air, food, shelter that is necessary for survival. Wants, an item that we desire but is not essential for survival. This becomes the major battle that society deals with. How do we balance our needs and our wants? Efficiency, coming back to a key economic term, this is using your scarce resources to their fullest capabilities. And then trade-off. A trade-off is an alternative that we sacrifice when we make a decision. A famous trade-off is going to be the use of guns or butter. Should we produce a lot of guns? If we produce a lot of guns and then we sacrifice our use of butter, you could use the same for iPods or cruise missiles. We only have a scarce amount of resources, so we need to make trade-offs. Another term we'll use throughout the semester is an opportunity cost. This is the most desirable alternative given up as a result of a decision. Every time you guys make a decision, you obviously give something up in return. The most desirable alternative is an opportunity cost. We use this example all the time of sleep versus homework. If you decide to do one, you are going to give up the other. College or working. If you go to college, do you forego work? If you go to work right after school, do you forego going to college for a while? Spending on military versus infrastructure. Again, another opportunity cost. Then we use the term capital goods. Capital goods are used in the manufacturing of other goods. All these pictures on the right are examples of capital goods. Bridges, facilities, roadways, offices, all of these are capital goods. The opposite of the capital good is a consumer good. These are goods that are bought by users for their own personal wants and needs. Think of American society, and if we're a consumer society, we spend and we allocate a lot of our resources towards the consumer side. Now we'll work on the factors of production. We consider these the four factors of production. They're the building blocks of any economic system. We need to really focus on these as we study states and nations and compare our economic systems and why some systems are very successful and why some struggle. The first factor of production is land. So we call it land or resources. These are things created by acts of nature such as land, water, minerals, oil and gas deposits, renewable and non-renewable energy sources. Under each one of these, I'm going to ask you guys in class, what is Minnesota's land? What makes Minnesota one of the fastest growing economies in the upper Midwest and in the nation? What gives us this economic advantage based on our factors of production? Second factor is labor. This is the human effort, both physical and mental, used by workers in the production of goods and services. There are a variety of types of labor out there. Every economic system has to have them. You have white collar. White collar workers tend to be highly educated, specialized workers, like this person working down in a laboratory. And we also have blue and brown collar workers, workers that tend to work with their hands, work with their back, doing the very difficult jobs in society. The question I'll ask you then is, what is Minnesota's reputation as a labor state? How do we compare to other states when it comes to the physical and mental effort of Minnesotans when it comes to putting forth labor effort? And then we talk about recession hits the less educated the hardest. As you know, that as we hit recessions and we have economic shocks, the people that struggle the most are the ones with high school graduate or with high school diplomas and less. People that do okay when it's unemployment are four-year graduates and above. We need to have a balance. Third factor of production is physical capital. Just like capital goods, physical capital, the machines, buildings, equipments, roads, telecommunications, airports, everything that is made by humans that aid in the distribution and production of goods and services. Like our school building here, an absolute physical capital. It's, some people call it down here the public or common good, because most of the time it's paid for by taxpayer dollars that aids in the distribution and allocation of goods throughout the country. Again, ask the question is, what is Minnesota's PC? How are we doing with our physical capital? And then 3B, second part of capital, is a human capital. It's the knowledge and skills acquired by workers through education and experience. This is the physical brain power of a state or of a country. And again, I'll ask the question, what is Minnesota's human capital? How do we rate? How do Minnesotans rate on a national scale and an international scale? And then I want to know is, how can we improve? It says out HC, that's a spelling error, our HC. How do we in Minnesota improve our human capital? Fourth factor of production is entrepreneurship / technology. So the four factors: land, labor, capital, technology. This is the effort to coordinate the production and sale of goods and services. These are the people that take all the land, the labor, the capital, and the technology and come up with a good or service or product that is needed and wanted, that changes society. These people take risks, entrepreneurs take risks, but what makes our system great is the fact that there's profit motive, and that makes people want to take risks and change our economic system. I'm also going to talk about how can states invest in physical capital to attract human capital? Do they, I'm talking about what metro areas compete with the Twin Cities for the best and brightest minds. This is a race to the top for the smartest, most innovative people in the United States and the world to come to their region to help spur economic growth. The Twin Cities region has great physical capital, but should we do more? Should the state invest more to get the young, bright minds to come here? Or in your guys' life, should the state of Minnesota do something to keep you here? When you leave high school and you go off to college, the state of Minnesota wants you to graduate and stay here and help to improve and innovate our society and our state so we can continue to stay on the cutting edge. And you look at around here, you look at the natural parks, the walkways, the bike trails of Lake Calhoun, Lake of the Isles. You get down here, the University of Minnesota, one of the great research facilities in the country. You look at the art scene and museum scene in Minneapolis, a vibrant, cutting edge cultural experience. And something that we're dealing with is, do we expand more light rail and have more walkable communities? And should the state invest more? And if not, where are the best and brightest students going to go? We'll talk about this more in class. And will this, now that the Viking Stadium is going to be in progress, will having a Viking Stadium in a livable community with light rail connection attract more young entrepreneurs? And we'll just look at this. I want you to copy this down. Here's the function of the scarcity of productive resources. We already know land, labor, capital, and technology and entrepreneurship combined with choices of produce, goods, and services, along with the allocation question and the production question and distribution question. Also along with opportunity costs and trade-offs. This is going to be the basis of economic decision making. We'll get more into that later.